This week has been huge. This is going to be one of the biggest episodes of the weekly reload ever. We have the Nintendo Direct, which we got to go into. We also have Season 3 and Verdansk being fully announced and all of the details revolving around that. And specifically, we found out the person in the world who is the best at their job. If you didn't know, last week Assassin's Creed Shadow came out, and needless to say, it was very controversial. Even the player count being one of the controversies. People saying it's a super low player count. It peaked at about 64,000 people on Steam. However, as per reports, it's one of the best-selling Assassin's Creeds of all time, right underneath Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and might even be pushing some numbers higher than that. The 64,000 number is lower because most of the people who play Assassin's Creed are apparently on console. But again, we don't know those sales figures for sure. But the one thing that we do know is who is the best at Ubisoft, because on Twitter this week, Grums tweeted out talking back to Khazan, who was promoting the game, and then Elon Musk felt like he needed to pop in and say, this person is a sellout. Objectively, he is promoting a terrible game. And guess who piped in other than Assassin's Creed, responding saying, is that what the guy playing your Path of Exile 2 account told you? And not only did Elon Musk get ratioed, he got ratioed to the moon. But it wasn't over there, because Grums came back and started talking smack about the game. And then all Assassin's Creed said is, our game is out, referring to Grums' game that never got released. And again, ratioed to the moon. There are some people in this world who are meant to do a certain job, to step up at specific times. And right now, with Ubisoft potentially taking Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six and selling them off to 10-cent games, this person said, you know what, I might be losing my job anyway. Time to talk some smack, and everyone is loving it. Ubisoft, if you take this person and get rid of their job, don't do it. Take them, embrace them, tell them to keep talking smack to everyone. Don't hold back. We're not babying anyone. This is the future of Ubisoft. I strive to be as good at my job as this person is on Twitter. I do my best every single week. And just like every single week, this week, we got another episode of the Weekly Reload. For those of you who don't know by now, the Weekly Reload is our weekly gaming news show where we go over everything gaming. Not just first-person shooters, not just Call of Duty, but everything. But we do tend to focus on those a little bit more. Now, the biggest news this year is GTA. We're all waiting for it. We're all waiting for Trailer 2. We're all waiting for a release date. But as it turns out, it's not just us that is waiting for a release date. Literally the entire gaming industry, where reportedly 3 major developers, and I'm willing to bet that it's a lot more than 3, are waiting for that GTA 6 release date before they announce when their game is coming out. Essentially, there are 3 weeks before and 3 weeks after GTA 6 comes out that nobody wants to touch, because all of the gaming news is going to be surrounded by that. And if you put your game out during that time, apparently it's a complete death sentence. So everyone is scared and it's throwing off everything. And then if GTA 6 somehow does get delayed, how is that going to affect the gaming industry? It's a wild time to be a part of this. And speaking of wild times, another thing that's wild is what Microsoft is doing. If you didn't see it, they put out some concept images for new UI on PC and on Xbox themselves. And one of the things that was included was a link to Steam. Now, with current rumors, it is rumored that this year we are going to be getting some sort of Xbox handheld, and then next year we're going to be getting a new Xbox console that are going to be running Windows. And because they're running Windows, they can run Steam. And because they can run Steam, they can run the PlayStation games that have launched on Steam. Essentially, what Xbox is trying to do is create a platform where you can play all your games. Just like on PC, how you can play your Ubisoft games, your Steam games, your Epic games, and your Game Pass games, they want this on everything, which is a brilliant idea, pushing forward Xbox's Play Anywhere idea. And on top of that, Xbox wanting their games to be on everything. Smart move. Now, speaking of smart moves, we have so much Call of Duty news to talk about. We've got Season 3, we've got Warzone, and the only way for me to do this and fit it into this video is completely rapid fire. So Slick, he's the editor that makes these videos come to live. He's amazing. He is going to hate me for this section of the video, but he is great. So please hit the like button for him, and 1 like equals 1 prayer for what's about to happen. So Season 3 of Black Ops 6 starts on April 2nd, but that's only for the Black Ops 6 portion, so multiplayer and zombies. The rest of it starts on April 3rd. So what's new here in multiplayer is we have a new map called Barrage. It is a medium-sized map that takes place in 1968 Vietnam. Then we have Nomad. This is a small size map, which is a strike map taking place in Afghanistan. Then we have the return of Firing Range. They call this a medium-sized map, but we know that this is a small size map. We also have Haven. This one takes place at a KGB headquarters. Again, another mid-size map. Then mid-season, we have Signal, which takes place on the Rusalka, aka the number station from 1968 Black Ops 1, and Blazetown, which is going to be like a new version of Nuketown. As far as multiplayer modes, the first one that we have is Sharpshooter. This is a fan favorite back from Black Ops 1. We also have Demolition. This is an IW or Infinity Ward game mode that was originally, I believe, in Modern Warfare 2, making a return in this game. As far as new perks, we have Close Shave, which allows you to use your melee weapon, which is your dedicated weapon when you hit the melee button when you have your gun out. And there's also another perk called Vendetta coming out at mid-season. The new score streak is 825 score, and that is the Death Machine. Everyone knows what that one is. The new ranked play season brings new ranked rewards. Moving to zombies, we have the new map, which is called the Shattered Veil. I must say, this one looks really, really cool, and I'm willing to bet, I don't know this for sure, that dinosaur has to be the main boss. I'm calling it right now. We also have the new enemy, which is called the Elder Disciple, just basically a new version of the Disciple. We also have some other entities, which include toxic zombies, which are seemingly annoying as hell. As far as wonder weapons, we have the Ray Gun Mark II, which everyone knows and loves, as well as the Wonderwaff DG2, which everyone, again, knows and loves. As far as a new perk for the season, we have Double Tap Root Beer, which everyone has been waiting for since the launch of Zombies. We have 3 new Gobblegums, which include Tactical Diffusion, Support Group, and finally Die Pitched, which makes your zombies high-pitched for 3 minutes. Then we have our new weapons, so these are a part of the Battle Pass. First of all, we have the CR56 AMAX, we have the HDR, and we have the Kali sticks, all of which were fan favorite weapons from Call of Duty Warzone and Modern Warfare when it launched. Mid-season, we have the Ladra, which is an SMG, as well as the Nail Gun. This one, I believe, has been in a couple previous games. We have new attachments, which include the Monolithic Suppressor, the SWAT 556 conversion kit, which actually turns it into the Grouse, so essentially another new weapon there. We have the C9 10mm Auto 30 round mags, and finally the Goblin MK2 mini rocket conversion. That will be certainly interesting. They're also adding some new things in so that you are able to use multiple different blueprint attachments at the same time on a weapon, as well as a new way of tracking various different camos. And then starting on April 17th, we have another crappy event called the Black Ops Tribute, which is just get XP and get items. As far as new operators go, as a part of the Battle Pass, we have both Hudson and Mace, which were fan favorite characters from before. And then for Black Cell, we have Rose. That is right. She is back, but she should be able to see her a little bit easier on the new version of Verdansk. Now, speaking of the new version of Verdansk, it is launching a day later on April 3rd, but on April 2nd, if you click on the Warzone kind of page in Black Ops 6, it is going to give you a new weapon, the Kilo 141, so make sure you level that one up on April 2nd. Now, moving into what is new with Warzone. So of course, we have the new and improved Verdansk. They basically took the map and left it 95% the same, but improved some visuals, the graphics, the mud, the water. There's a ton of different screenshots that you can see and how they're improved and how they look different than before. As far as what they have changed is, number one, the movement. So they've adopted Omni movement, but they've taken it, refined it, and it's going to be closer to the original movement of 2020 Verdansk with Omni movement abilities. They haven't explained very well what this is going to be, but we'll have to wait and see. The player count is going to be 150 players with the original announcer. Once again, you can shoot during free fall, which no one really knows why they removed that one, and it has the same infill and exfil cinematics as the original Warzone. Speaking of original Warzone, the original supply crates make a return, as well as floating loot. Also, the original armor satchel that was there, I believe, with Season 3 Reloaded back in the day, where if you pick up the armor satchel, it gives you 8 plates automatically. There's no more confusing stuff with that. A new thing that is making a return, though, I believe from Modern Warfare 3 is high value loot zones. Those are coming back, and basically the only new feature that is coming back. Buy stations are going back to the original glory with their vertical menus, as well as being able to buy back whole teammates with the click of one button, which I think is a good improvement. Basically, all of the equipment, vehicles, field upgrades, everything in between from Modern Warfare 2019 and Call of Duty Warzone 2020 are making a return. The 3 kill streaks that are coming are the Strike Precision Airstrike and the UAV. I believe the Bunker Buster is coming with Season 3 Reloaded, but that is a little ways off. Speaking of Season 3 Reloaded, the other thing that is coming then is Verdansk ranked play, so it won't be there at launch, but will be there shortly after, as well as some new updates, which include certain POIs changing, like the inside of train station opening up and the train moving around the map. It seems like every half a season, they're going to be making an improvement or a change to the map. For example, opening up Stadium. We don't know when that one's happening yet. The Gulag makes a return. It is the same as the original Gulag, which everyone seems to be excited about. If you inspect a weapon, it will show you what attachments are on it, as well as if you get killed, it'll show you how you died, including whether you were on a UAV, whether you got pinged. So that way you know whether someone's hacking on you or not. They did announce that there's going to be secrets scattered throughout the map. They showed a teddy bear, but also referred to the intel that was originally in Verdansk in March 2020, which if they bring that back, we are going to be all over that. As far as game modes go, you have your traditional 150 player battle royale, but we also have casual, which includes 28 players and 120 bots, which is wild. We also have plunder coming back once again, and then we have boot camp, which includes 44 players, 12 of which are humans, 32 are bots, so seemingly putting some easier game modes in there, as well as Resurgence is making a return with Rebirth Island only. Now, the final thing is the event that is coming on day 1. This is the Return to Verdansk event, where each section of the map, there's 12 of them, will have a hidden vault that you have to go in and find, and each of them will give you a brand new item, and if you get all of them, you get the Kali sticks. However, some of these items, specifically the Milsim Operator and Domino, are only available in Warzone, which is super strange. Now, tinfoil hat time, a lot of people are going to see that as a negative. I actually see that as something that everyone has been asking for. It seems though with this season, Beanox and Raven are now the studios for Warzone. The movement is now different in Warzone than it is in Black Ops 6, with rumors of Black Ops 7 having wall running. Maybe or maybe not Warzone gets that adapted to it, but it seems as though more than ever, they are making Warzone different than multiplayer, different than zombies. No longer is it going to pushing towards this connective experience. They're actually trying to make them their own games and as good as possible, which in my eyes is a good thing, but you may disagree with that.
Now, I actually managed to get out of the house and touch some grass this week, but the news keeps coming. So number one, we got more information about the RICOCHET Anti-Cheat for Season 3. Essentially, they put out a blog post and said, trust me, bro, it's going to be better. That's really all it said about what they are making change-wise, because if they tell us, then the cheap providers are going to make the same changes, and it's cooked. The other thing is, speaking of touching grass, there's a new Telegram channel that got made called 1BF. What they had on it was a bunch of early screenshots and test images for what Battlefield would be, and it's LA being on fire. And since they had Fire Team before, put your tinfoil hat on, I don't have one here, it may signify that they are working on a new Firestorm, which is interesting. And let me tell you, I don't know if we can show them here, but these screenshots look pretty fire. Now going back to the office.
So the Black Ops 6 portion of things, multiplayer and zombies, are coming out on April 2nd, but that's not the only thing that is on April 2nd, because on April 2nd, we are getting another Nintendo Direct, which is all going to be about Nintendo Switch 2. There's going to be some huge announcements there, so stay tuned for that. But we also got a Nintendo Direct this week. Now, I'm not going to go over everything there, but essentially, there are 2 games I wanted to look at. Number 1 is this. So this is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Now, the best way of me to describe this one is it's kind of like Metroid meets Halo meets Doom, but of course it's on Nintendo. Now, I'm guessing, I don't know this, but I'm guessing this is probably going to be a launch title for the Nintendo Switch 2 because it specifically says late 2025. It's a very interesting looking one. And then the other big one that came out from this is Pokemon Legends ZA. Now, I have to say this is the first time in recent Pokemon games where I'm like, I gotta get this one because they're actually doing something new. First of all, it takes place in one big town. Throughout the town, there are several different wild zones where you can go to capture Pokemon, which are essentially function as public parks. On top of that, Pokemon can be found in certain areas. I'm assuming like sewers and roofs and things like that. But then at night, if you stay up too late, all of the Pokemon turn to zombies and start killing the humans. Okay, I'm just kidding. But at night, turns out that there's like a giant tournament where you have to fight against other trainers and work your way from rank Z to rank A. So instead of having these giant gym battles, there's like this tournament that goes on every single night, and there's this cool day and night cycle. So no, we don't get zombie Pokemon, but we do get at least a little bit something new. And I'm sure there's gonna be a story worked into there as well, something going on with the town, things along those lines. Now, there were essentially two games that were released this week. Number one was Atomfall. This is one that I played the entire game over on Ink TV, and in fact, I've even put up a review there. But to keep it short, this game was really, really good. It is not a linear game whatsoever. You can kind of play it at your own pace in whatever order you want. The world is super reactive. The story is very, very good, but the gameplay is a little bit lackluster. If you're like me and like games with a really good story, maybe kind of like Fallout, but on top of that has a really open world and create your own story, choose your own adventure style gameplay, it is definitely a game for you. The other new game that came out this week is by the name of the first Berserker Khazan, and this one is essentially a very, very difficult Souls-like game. Right now it has about an 80 on OpenCritic, and yeah, all of the kind of comments, reviews, things like that is they say it's brutally hard. So if you like Dark Souls, if you like Elden Ring, if that is your cup of tea, this is a game for you to grind through until we get the next one. It's definitely a genre that keeps pumping out games that people seemingly enjoy every single time. The one thing that I will say is, why is like every game that comes out this year just 80 on OpenCritic? It's either like 81, 79, or 80. Every single one of them. It's getting a little bit ridiculous at this point. Now, as far as games coming out this week, first one that we have is going into early access on April 3rd, fully getting launched on April 8th, and that is South of Midnight. Now, this game is made by the people who made We Happy Few, which has a really cool art style. This one does as well. This is one that I'm looking to get my hands on, and we'll probably have a review over on Ink TV. But this is one that is day one on Xbox Game Pass, or you can pay to get it those 5 days early if you'd really like. Curious what you guys are thinking about this one. And speaking of things that I'm curious about, this next game goes by the name of inZOI. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but think of this game as a more realistic Sims. Essentially, it's a real life simulator where you can do what you want, play what you want, pretty much anything you want, and crazy things happen, like you get sick. It's like living a life of a fake person in a video game through your real life, but pressing buttons and sped up. I don't know. It's an interesting one. Although it is not getting as good early reviews as I originally thought it would, but I have a feeling that this is going to be a game that really gets pushed over time. Sims is like one of the most successful franchises ever, and it appears as though they are going for a chunk of that change. So that is the weekly reload. I have some very big news involving this series coming next Sunday, so you're really going to want to stay tuned for that. I guarantee you're not expecting it. It is something brand new. And I think, fingers crossed, all of you who watch this series and enjoy this series, it is something that you will really, really like. Slick and I got a surprise for you guys, so stay tuned next week. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Weekly Reload, hit the like button, subscribe. There's going to be so much coming this week with Verdansk, with the story and that, with season 3, and I've got many other story videos planned for the channel over the next little while. So stay tuned, subscribe, notifications, like button, all of that good jazz. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace.